Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. I hope everyone enjoyed their Valentine's Day weekend, and if you had today off, I hope you got some relaxation in. So let's get right into episode 3, The Turnbow Trap. So the first thing I want to do, of course, you should know by now, is to add an intro to this episode. This episode starts off with Eleven and Hopper trying to get through the wall, so I want to put that after the opening credits and start the episode here. So to give you all a visual of where I'm wanting to start in this episode, in season 4, episode 7, Henry is telling Eleven some of what happened back in 1959 when he killed his sister and mother. During this, we see Nancy seeing the memory as it's being told. Victor gets slammed on the wall by police as he's getting put in cuffs. All of this happens on November 6th, 1959. If there's one thing I would have liked to have seen in the final season, was more of a backstory on why Henry turned evil, why he was relentless in wanting to end their world, and why this specific date, November 6th, even 24 years prior, had something, like it held some kind of weight for it to be a date that he used again when he kidnapped Will. Okay, so like I said, the flashback picks up immediately during the arrest of Victor Creel. The house is swarming with 1950s police cruisers, their red lights pulsing against the fog. Victor Creel is being shoved into the back of a police car, pleading and screaming his innocence, screaming he didn't do it, that something else killed his wife and his daughter. Neighbors stare. And across the street, near the playground, Henry Creel is standing still, watching his father take the blame. No tears, no fear, just observation. The scene shifts to Hawkins High School. Inside the darkened auditorium, Joyce's play is underway. The stage lights are burning hot. Joyce is frantic, trying to keep everything together, unbeknownst of what's going on the outside. She spots Henry in the shadows and pulls him aside. She tells him she's been investigating the animal killings, the pets, the rabbits, and she's terrified. She tells Henry that she thinks his father is the monster. In response to Joyce's concern, Henry looks at her, his eyes dark with the Mind Flayer's influence. He doesn't defend his father. Instead, he leans into Joyce and tells her, "Your kindness is a weakness, Joyce. You need to learn to do whatever it takes to protect the ones you love." Joyce shakes her head, confused and disturbed, looks back at Henry and responds, "I don't understand." Henry replies in a cold, deep voice, "Don't worry, you will." A few minutes later, the play is in full effect. The spotlight is in the rafters. Suddenly, a girl, Patty Newby, screams as she plummets from the rafters, hitting the stage with a sickening, hard thud. The camera pans up to the rafters. We see Henry looking down, but he isn't alone. Dr. Martin Brenner is standing right behind him. Before Henry can react or move, Brenner jams the Sorteria injector into the side of his neck. We hear the mechanical hiss as Henry's eyes go wide, his powers neutralized instantly. Chaos reigns inside, eventually trickling outside. Patty Newby is loaded into the civilian ambulance, and a young Bobby Newby sobbing at her side. To avoid the crowd, Joyce and Hopper slip into the back exit. They stop dead in their tracks. In the shadows of the loading dock, Brenner's men are dragging a limp, semi-conscious Henry toward an unmarked black ambulance. Brenner stops. He looks at the two teenagers with a chilling, fatherly calm. "You saw a boy have a mental breakdown tonight. Nothing more. If the police ask, Henry Creel was never here. His father is to blame for everything that happened in that house. If you mention what you saw, If you tell anyone Henry is alive, your families will never see you again. The ambulance doors slam shut. Through the small back window, Henry's eyes lock on to Joyce and Hopper. Its look of pure ancient malice that settles into the pits of their stomachs like lead. We stay on their faces of both young Joyce and Hopper, pale, wide-eyed, complicit. They didn't just see a ghost, they helped Brenner create one. The screen cuts to black, and then we get the opening credits. After the opening credits, we will start with Hopper and 11 at the wall, like the original episode opens with. Everything will stay the same after this point up until, so you have them at the wall, you have Joyce in the car looking for Will and Robin. She rides past them on the bikes and they have that little moment in the car. Henry being in Derek's classroom, stalking him at school. And then we jump to the breakfast table scene when Henry and Holly, all of that will stay the same. I actually think it's kind of chilling because here Ted would have died. Henry would know that Ted is dead, but Holly doesn't. And he's telling her that her parents are fine. They're better off in Hawkins. So showing how manipulative he is, though he's appearing to her and the kids as this Mr. Nice, Mr. What's-it, and such a good guy. So I want to keep that the same and not tell her that Ted is dead. From here, I do want to change some of the dialogue Henry and Holly have as he's walking out of the house to go and stalk the rest of the other kids. I do want to make a switch here. Something when I first watched this episode and Henry was telling her not to go in the woods, I also thought he was going to tell her not to go up in the attic, especially because in the following episode, in the sorcerer episode, when Max is telling Holly about her time inside of Henry's mind, she does go into the attic and it leads her to another part of his mindscape that we saw in season 4. So I want to add him telling her not to go up to the attic either, and I want to do something with that space, that mindscape space, later on in the episode. So that's why I'm making this change here. I also want to incorporate more of the clocks in here as well. If there is another thing I just felt they added throughout each season and then just went astray this season, was the clocks and why Henry was so fascinated with time and the clock chimes. So I want to add that back in with this season and this episode as well. Okay, so Henry and Holly walk down the front steps outside the Creel house. Henry to Holly, I expect to be gone for the whole day. I have business to attend to. While I'm gone, you have the whole house to yourself. Holly, eyes wide, the whole house? Everything which is mine is yours. You are free to roam. The kitchen, the garden, my study, the entire house. But in return, I need you to make me a promise. Something very important. Do you think you could do that? Holly responding, yeah. You must never, under any circumstance, go into the woods. Do you understand? Is that where the monsters live? Henry nodding slowly. But they won't find you. That is as long as you don't try to find them, Holly interjects. Henry smiling back at Holly. You know I'm very glad I saved you first. You're the brightest of them all. He pauses, looking up at the high-arched window of the attic. And another thing, under no circumstance should you go into the attic. Holly responding, why? What's up there? Henry still smiling, it's a surprise. Oh, and if you don't mind, bring my mail in, won't you? Henry walks away down the driveway. Holly turns to the mailbox, pulling out the Tiffany tape and the radio boombox. She looks up stunned. How did you know? A hunch, Henry says without turning back. Holly turns and looks towards the woods, grabbing her necklace. She eventually snaps out of it and walks inside the house. Now here I want to add a completely new scene and extend this some. The moment Holly crosses the threshold and the front door closes shut, the mask of the house falls. In a silent, rapid-fire wave, the vibrant blue paint on the exterior starts to wilt and blacken, peeling off the wood like burnt skin. The pristine white pillars of the porch rot in thick, pulsing black vines. The bright sunlight hitting the house turns into a sickly, bruised red of Vecna's mindscape. The house itself glitches. For 5 seconds, the windows are shattered, and the spires are visibly through the gaps in the wood. It's the rotted Creel house in Vecna's mindscape. The silence is heavy, and then bong! The grandfather clock inside the house strikes 1. A white static field shockwave ripples through the building. It repaints itself, reality back over the rot in single frame. The vines retreat into the soil and the blue paint heals. The red sky turns black into a sunny blue. So after this added scene at the Creel house, we can go back to the original scene with Hopper and 11 inside the Upside Down. The military men make it to the wall and they take a break. Lieutenant Akers pees on the wall. During this break, they ended up seeing Hopper. Hopper has to shoot his way out to keep him and 11 safe. He takes out the hedgehogs, and then 11 is allowed and able to help once the hedgehogs are gone, and they end up taking Lieutenant Akers hostage. That can stay the same. The scene I want to change after this is the scene where all of the gang ends back up at the Squawk. I didn't like in the original scene that Mike and Lucas hadn't heard from Dustin in like a day. They walk up to him and see he's been like, his face is fucked up and no one seems to care that he looks like that. So I want to tweak this dialogue some as well. The embrace Nancy and Jonathan has after he apologizes and hugs her can stay the same. However, I want to start the dialogue between Mike, Dustin, and Lucas right here, starting off with Dustin. Mike, Lucas, I'm sorry. I fell off my bike near the quarry. I was out of radio range. I didn't hear the call until it was too late. I should have been there. Steve gives Dustin that look of irritation for lying. Lucas looking directly at Dustin's face. We both know who did this, Dustin. I just hope it was worth it. Dustin defensive, snapping back. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. I'm here now. Dustin looks over at Steve, expecting him to jump in, but instead Steve says nothing, rolls his eyes, and walks over to Nancy and Jonathan. Mike interjecting, his voice terrifyingly calm. I'm just glad you're here, Dustin. Really. But from here on out, no more going rogue. No more being distant. My dad is dead. My sister is gone. We need all of you. Every last one of us. We need each other. If we're going to find Holly and stop whatever Vecna is planning, we can't afford to have anyone else fighting alone. The weight of that vow hangs in the air. Suddenly, the door of the Squawk swings open. Robin sticking her head out, her face pale. Hey, this isn't a social call, guys. Will may have figured out what he's planning. Let's go. The scene after we can keep the same, which would be the group inside the Squawk going over everything that Will is telling them about Derek Turnbow being the next target and them coming up with the plan to save Derek and to somehow track the Demogorgon inside the Upside Down. That can stay the same. The following scene jumps back to Holly at the Creel house. I want to keep that scene the same. However, when Holly is inside of Henry's room and she gets the telescope out of his little box and puts on the little necktie thing, I want to add some more to this scene. Holly hears a noise upstairs which causes her to look up. The music on the boombox starts to distort. Tiffany's voice slows down, becoming a deep demonic rasp. Holly is drawn to a narrow, dark stairwell leading upward. She climbs the stairs, and as she climbs, the perfect wallpaper behind her starts to peel away in real time, revealing rotted wood and black vines beneath. She leans her ear against the door of the attic. She hears many distorted voices. Some voices will sound familiar to us.
Hey, I said, what do you want? I said, what do you want?
Away!
We'll consume you. It will consume all.
Before she can open the door to the attic, the doorbell rings. A loud, cheerful chime echoes through the house. At the same time, the grandfather clock chimes again. The rotted wood, the peeling wallpaper, and the decay heals as Holly turns back around. Holly gasps and sprints down the stairs, stopping before she reaches the bottom. She takes a second to check out the door. We can keep the same moment of her thinking it's Derek at the door. She calls him, I think, a barf bag or something when she sees whatever shape leave from in front of the door and walks away. Eventually, she does open the door and check the mail, where she finds the map that's leading her to the cave. So all of that can stay the same. After this scene, we get Hopper 11 back inside the Upside Down. At this point, they have Lieutenant Akers hostage, and 11 wants to interrogate him as well so they can get more answers about what's going on, and Hopper doesn't want her to. I want to switch up some of this dialogue here too. One of the main reasons being I didn't see why they had 11 make this big deal about Lieutenant Akers peeing on the wall. Like, she said it quite a few times in this interaction, just for him peeing on the wall to mean absolutely nothing. So yeah, I want to change this dialogue here and also keep some of the same dialogue. So I'm just swapping out little things here and there just to make some of the dialogue feel less cringy than it felt in the original scripts. Hopper looking through a pair of binoculars. 2 military helicopters sweep the horizon with searchlights. Hopper, I don't know how, but it looks like they found your kryptonite, kid. Those hedgehog units, they aren't just scanning, they're hunting. Any movement from our guests? 11 looks towards the bus. Hopper looks in on Lieutenant Akers tied up inside the bus. 11 swallowing, her voice low. They weren't surprised or scared. Hopper lowering the binoculars. What? The men at the wall. They didn't look shocked to see it at all. I don't know where you're getting at, Hopper responds. Maybe they already know what it is or how to get through it. Hopper glancing back at the back of the bus. That's highly doubtful. What he will know, though, is the schedule for the next supply convoy, our way to get out of this hellhole. 11 doubtful. And what happens then? Hopper responds again. We get back, we tell the others what we saw, and we make a new plan. The others? You think they will know how to get through the wall? Hopper rubbing his face and sighing. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. 11 responding, they won't. Then we'll be back at square one. From here, we can keep the same dialogue, the exact same, where 11 reminds Hopper of compromise, COM promise, and then he calls her a stubborn punk ass before he agrees to allow her to interrogate Lieutenant Akers. From here, we can keep Mr. Clark's lesson on wormholes and the boys interrupting Erica's favorite class and having her step out. We can keep the scene the same at the hospital with Will and Robin going to steal the benzos and then them having their private conversation about how she knew Vicky was the one for her. We can keep Murray dropping off the supplies the same and him and Dustin having that cheeky interaction, along with Dustin and Steve having their interaction after, and them turning Steve's car into the new Trekker vehicle. We can still have the scene with Nancy testing out if the telemetry tracker works. However, because again, Jonathan and Nancy aren't together, and we were moving the whole ring storyline out of this, him and Jonathan won't have this little back and forth behind Nancy's back while she's walking up to try out this tracker. So that scene would be gone, as well as that awkward dialogue when Nancy tells him that she can shoot something no matter how small it is, indicating that they have small penises. Yeah, we can take all of that out and just have a scene of Nancy testing out to see if the tracker would work and finding out that it does, and we can leave it there. After we get past this scene, we go back to Hopper and 11 inside the Upside Down. At this point, they are going to interrogate Lieutenant Akers. The only thing here I was considering to add that I may just go ahead and just have it added is Hopper telling Akers that basically there will come a time where he will see that the freak that he's been chasing all along has been the wrong person, and they have no idea what's coming for them, just so that can already be in the air. So once Vecna does attack them in the Sorcerer's episode and he goes to Dr. K and she's basically like telling him like, okay, like, so what, adding a little bit more to where I want his character to go later on down in the other episode. So that would be the only thing that I would add here. The following scene is Holly back at the Creel house, and she's talking to the Tiffany tape and trying to decide if she wants to follow this map into the woods. So I realized, because I changed and added this scene with the attic, that I do need to change some of the dialogue here. So it'll start off with the same. Holly is pacing, her small shadow stretching across the floral rug. Holly, it doesn't make sense. Henry said never go into the woods, never ever. She stops and looks up at the ceiling. Faint, distorted screams vibrates through the crown molding. She shivers. But something just feels wrong here. This house, the attic. He said it's a prize up there, but why would it be screaming behind the door? Why send me a map asking me for help? She takes her necklace off and rubs the charm between her thumb and forefinger. Holly continues, looking at Holly the heroic. What would you do? Holly looks over at the fireplace. Her eyes hardened. She grabs a heavy iron fire poker, feeling the weight. She doesn't look back at the attic stairs. She instead grabs her cloak, the telescope, the map, and heads out the front door. We can keep the same scene of her using the telescope to see into the woods before she enters them. Okay, so after that scene, we can pick it up where it starts off in the original, which it starts off with the Turnbull house scene with Derek and Tina. She goes up to his room to get him to come down for dinner, and he doesn't want to. They have a moment running through the house before Erica rings the doorbell, and she's apologizing and crying with the pie. The group is waiting for the drugs to hit the Turnbulls so they can start setting up their plan for the Demogorgon. And then we get the dinner table scene up until we see Joyce and Will outside of the barn having their private moment. So right here, I want to change this dialogue as well. Joyce is outside smoking her cigarette. She hears footsteps and quickly dropping it, crushing it with her heel. As Will walks up, we hear him say, "I thought you quit." Joyce quickly, "Quit what?" Will smiling, pretty smooth. Joyce looking, "Thanks. Where's your coat?" "It's in the barn." "Well, you should get it if you're going to be out here." "Mom, about this morning." "Will, it's fine." No, it's not. I shouldn't have talked to you that way. I was a jerk, and I'm sorry." "Honey, I know I can be a lot." Will, with a small, dry smile, "That's not true." Joyce, her voice drops, the humor vanishing. "It's just that when I couldn't find you this morning, I don't know. I thought about that night. I think about that night all the time. The night it came for you. The night all of this started. I wasn't even home. My shift ran late. I finally get home, and what do? Smoke cigarettes, drink cheap wine, watch Cheers reruns until I pass out. I didn't know you were missing for 8 hours. Mom, what happened to me is not your fault. 8 hours. What kind of mother doesn't check on her 11-year-old boy? Will, stepping forward, taking her hands. A mother who worked double shifts at mall vaults just to keep the lights on for us. Joyce, she looks at him with her eyes filled with a terrifying weight. Will, what if it all goes back further than that? What if this isn't just about 1983? Mom, stop. Look at me. I will never blame you for anything that happened that night or anything that has happened. In fact, I want to say thank you for everything, for fighting for me, for never believing for once I was gone, for the nights you stayed up with me, for every sacrifice you made for me and Jonathan. You're the reason I'm still standing here. You're the best mother anyone could have asked for. Joyce, wiping tears, her voice shaking with the fierce final resolve. There is nothing I wouldn't do for you, Will, or Jonathan. You are my world. Both of you are. Please, promise me. Promise me you will continue to take care of each other no matter what happens, no matter how dark it gets, no matter who we lose. Will, a hollow realization hitting him, sensing the weight of her words. I promise, Mom, I will. We will. Always. After this scene, everything following stays the same. The Demogorgon entering the Turnbull house and fleeing. Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan tracking it. Derek awaking in the barn and Will connecting that Vecna now knows where they are, and then ending the episode with Holly running away after seeing movement inside the cave, only for it to be revealed that it was Max. And then from here we get the same ending credits. So that is the changes and additions I would like to add in episode 3. I have been rewatching episode 4. There isn't much I really want to do with that episode. Maybe add in 1 or 2 things and maybe switch some slight dialogue just so it can match what I have already laid down for episodes 1 through 3. Otherwise, I most definitely think the biggest changes are going to be episodes 6, 7, and 8, and then I already know episode 9 I'm going to make the epilogue. So the epilogue will not be in episode 8 during the finale. We'll take that into episode 9 altogether since it's 45 minutes. And I also have a pretty touching and beautiful epilogue already thought out, so I can't wait to get to that episode. But what makes it difficult in these early episodes is it's like I know where I want to go. Is just about adding little things in the episodes that don't necessarily need many things changed to get to that point. So that's why, like, I'll have something done and then I'll think about something else, and then I'll take something else out or then incorporate something different. So yeah, it's been fun to say the least to go through all of the ideas and theories and things that I've had saved over the years. Again, if you guys are liking and enjoying this content, please like, comment, subscribe. For my newest subscribers, thank you so much for watching and subscribing to my channel. For all of my oldies, thank you as always for the support. Until the next video, guys, stay curious and stay out the upside down. See you in the next one.